Helping students realize school norms. Dr. Tim Walker, EDL 852, Module 10. When creating norms, I think the first thing to consider is the fact that I am not in a conventional classroom. I am typically in a very small class with no more than 7 to 8 students at a time, working with students with emotional disabilities or special education needs. So my classroom is not your typical classroom where you have many of the conventional norms that one would expect. So I also go about creating classroom norms and helping students create norms in a non-traditional way, since it's a non-traditional classroom. So this is the process that I've used in order to help this happen. So the first thing I do is I have students brainstorm and describe their worst teacher in classroom situations. Then I have them do the same with the best situations. What's that best teacher? What did they do? What did they not do? What were things that you enjoyed about the class and things like that? Then I flip the script and I substitute in the learner where the word teacher is. This helps to propel the conversation back to them. There they can connect the wants and desires to the idea. It is not that different from the expectations of a good teacher. So here's my example. My best teacher always listened to my ideas becomes my best student listened to my ideas, right? So kind of flipping that script around to where now they're seeing that what they're expecting out of teachers and in the classroom setting is also being expected out of the students. So I generate this list and they all submit in and we write it down and record it just kind of without any rhyme or reason. The next thing we do is in the classes is we begin narrowing and sorting. So I generate various lists, kind of group things just how I see them with words that are similar, but I really let the students sort, categorize, eliminate duplicates. We start creating larger groups and ideas so that way they can maybe have a good solid 10 to 15 things to choose from as far as expectations, things that they would like to see in a classroom happening, things that they would expect of each other, and how they would want their classroom to work. From there, I allow students really to rank and prioritize. So I typically have them pick their top like 5 to 7 ones and rank them in order, like 1 through 15 or 1 through 10. But I really want them to focus in on their top 10 with the expectation that we're probably going to narrow it down to 5 when it's all said and done. So we do that, and we do this a couple rounds because, you know, it's important not only to have the students see like, okay, how are mine ranking, but what's going to be important to me in talking to other students about this. So when it comes down to ranking, it really lets the students see what their peers find important. I don't do any of this. I don't rank any of them. I don't prioritize. All I do is I help collect the data and share that with students so that way they can really drive this conversation. Once the ranking and priority is done, we choose like those top 5 and we start to really explain and model. So we flip them into positive things. So like always be sure that you're putting away your things when you're done with them, right? If that was one of the norms, instead of don't leave stuff out on the table. So being sure everything's filled in a positive manner. But then we explain and model the norms. And how I do this, since we have such small groups, is I'll typically let students like have their own creative juices with this. So taking pictures of, norm expectations. If there's one of my classrooms had a couch one time, so we had to create norms for the couch. So we took pictures of students on the couch, what it looks like to be on the couch, what the expectations are on the couch, and all of those sort of things. And then maybe examples in written form, but then also posters of them as well. So like, hey, here's a poster for the respect norm that we have, and this is what it looks like, and this is like what things that we could say. The best part about all of this is that since they really had a say in all of this, it's really easy to call them out on it and say, hey, remember the norm that you all agreed to? Like, are you following one of those 4 or 5 right now? And they can go through the list or look at the poster or whatever and just say, yeah, no, I'm not. This process does take time. It does take intentionality. But I find that, those barriers to social emotional learning really start to break down as we create norms and just have routines in our classroom. And this is my final closing slide. Thank you so much.